mau ke o kaiana I ko pono ea I mua uo mau ke o kaiana I ko pono ea I mua uo mau ke o kaiana I ko pono ea wali panchas owa deza mana tava kings and queens would visit all the islands and saw everything. How would they feel about the changes of our land? Why could you just imagine if they were around and saw our concrete jungle and highways on sacred ground? How would they feel about the disrespect of ancient lands? Wanna now, tears will come from each other's eyes and they will stop to realize that our people are in great big danger now. Whoa, tell me what would they say? How would they feel? Would the smiles be content? Would they cry for the pains that they have seen? Now cry for our God, cry for our people, cry for our lands that was taken away. And then yet you find hope in it. Oh yeah, oh mau keo kaiana kupono ea ibua uo mau keo kaiana kupono ea ibua uo mau keo kaiana kupono ea wanna now all of the fighting King Kamehameha done to conquer all the islands. Now there's condominiums. How would he feel about the changes of our land? Why could you just imagine if he came back and saw traffic lights and the railroad tracks? How would he feel about the disrespect of ancient lands? Wanna now, tears will come from each other's eyes and they will stop to realize that our people are in great danger now. Whoa, tell me what would they say? How would he feel? Would his smiles be content? Would he cry for the pain that he has seen? Now cry for our God, cry for our people, cry for our lands that was taken away. And then yet you find hope in it. Oh yeah, mau keo kaiana ikopono ea imua uo 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 mau ea uka aina ikopono uo mau ea uka aina ikopono. The life of the land prepared.
Aloha kako. Sorry for the technical psyops that took place this morning. Aloha ka kaiaka, hale o keave, hale a pi'ilani, moloka i ahina, hale o kakui heva, and mano kalani po. Aloha ko Hawaii pai aina. Welcome to another episode of Darkside of Hawaiian Politics. Episode 41. This is exposing the fake state. Today's weather is Moko Keave. Today is north, highs 89, lows 72. Out in your east, highs 82, lows 71. Out in your south, highs 87, lows 73. And your max out today is coming out west, highs 92, lows 81. And now for the Olelo No'eau homework.
Aloha mai kākou e nā hoa kupa o ka aina. Aloha. Welcome again, episode 41. Today's Olelo No'eau of the day coming straight to you from the Baibala.
The Baibala.
America Vena Pukui Hoi. And the compilation of our Kupuna's Ike. So this one is number 365. Eola Koa. Eola Koa. Yeah, so Eola Koa. Live like a koa tree. Live a long time like a koa tree in the forest. As we know, our koa trees very much valued for our canoes, for our artifacts and all of our implements, some of our most sacred and precious materials, but also the function of the koa itself to capture the water, to stand tall, and to allow for the understory, the other native plants and ferns and shrubs to grow and thrive in the shade in the malu of Ka'ulu Koa. Yeah, so like the koa tree, Ouka, Koa uka, Koa kai, we have to look at that word koa. It also means koa. Yeah, the kauna of that is our koa in the ocean. The shelves of coral and the reefs that hold the life forms in the ocean together and bring the big waves that like to break in our shores and on our aina. So eola koa, koa uka, koa kai. Let us live like the koa tree for a long time. And even when we fall, allow the next generation to be enriched by the soils beneath us.
Homework. Mahalo for the Olelo No'eau of today.
Not bad, huh?
Not bad. The koa kia'i. Remember a little bit about the koa thieves that's going on right now on the Aina Mauna Legacy program.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a wonderful time for that Olelo No'eau homework. And thank you for bringing it up. But without further ado, Kako, this week for our smash, pass, conclusion, or solution.
The chopping block.
Our Darkside of Hawaiian chopping block. First up is Spinda.
Number 1 on the chopping block.
So, Kako, you guys was here earlier. Spinda, before he got approved, there was a riot that took place in Maui where our family members were hurt, and they failed to try and cover it up to our local families and the media, which they spinned off and said nothing was taking place. But we know that when the pictures have arrived and came out, that it was far from the truth that Spinda was speaking of. And this is a compile of the OCCC workers coming in and selling and giving our family members drugs during the time of their incarceration, which enables them to become free Kanakas in society because of the inability of the head letting their workers come in and give out drugs as if it was a food mill in OCCC. Now leading up to the COVID-19, mahalo to the union that stepped up and said enough is enough. This crisis actor has to get smashed. And for that being said, it's definitely a collusion within the state's policy, the warden, and the health board. Homework.
Yeah, here we go. Espinda, another scapegoat or figurehead for the corruption within the state of Hawaii, right? We cannot look at him as one pimple. The face is full of acne. And the face of Degirive Ige, you see him sitting right there next to him in some of these pictures. These are the faces of the state of Hawaii, right? The people who are controlling the power and who are allowed to make decisions. And what's being shown and brought to light right now in this day and age is all the different corruption, all the different types of corruption, how deep-seated it is, and also who is the victims and who becomes the injured parties for all this corruption, right? It's the Kanaka, the people of these communities, right? The secret areas that become developed, but specifically you got to look at OCCC, right? This is this is where there was, I guess, a huge outbreak of COVID, right? Over 864 men and 109 female.
And the thing could be way over what we're talking about right now.
Right. So actually, sorry, that's the number of inmates at OCCC. So a fourth of them tested positive because of this kind of negligence. and then put all of our frontline workers, right, the people who work in these places, and go home to their families after protecting us. You know, and now there's 51 of those Kanaka as well infected. So, you know, we got to give a big smash to not only Espinda, but the state of Hawaii, the colluders who allow for this corruption to keep recycling itself in all the different departments of the state.
Next up on the chopping block, we got the two knuckleheads.
Oh, here we go.
So, the state of Hawaii has decided on two new police commissioners. This crisis actor, Doug Chin, with the biggest chin, he's always slandering our native Hawaiian communities. On Mauna Kea, he was one of the main colluders who lied about the access road and the property barriers where the native Hawaiians were residing, exercising, spiritual usage. This is the issue that we have with these police commissioners. Yes, this ex-judge worked for the state of Hawaii for, I think, family services. I don't approve that message either, because these kind of guys go into our native Hawaiian family homes and take their kids away for sometimes minimal reasons. But these two crisis actors, I gotta smash, because these two knuckleheads look like colluders, and that's basically what I see when I'm looking at these two knuckleheads.
The two new commissioners of Honolulu, police commissioners, right? It's just you follow the trail of these two individuals. More so Doug Chin, right? Former lieutenant governor, you know, and the former AG. And you know, just to see the slug trail that they leave behind, you know, a lot of it is criminalizing Kanaka, you know, and we saw the bold-faced lying from Doug Chin about Mauna Kea during the BOR or the DLNR board meetings, and some of his testimony, which created this fake, false narrative that the state likes to do to try to control us. But as we know, you know, a lot of that stuff turned out to be bunk, and just like these two. You know, Michael Broderick, have a little less of a smash for him, you know, but a family court judge, somebody who has some experience at least.
Yeah.
But, you know, still, we in a time where, you know, America is doing all this police reform and doing away with violent, militarized type police, we have two people who seem to fit the bill of continuing to perpetuate militarized police forces in the Hawaiian Islands. So I gotta give that a big smash all the way from the back with the Kawila stick. Bow! Ahui ho.
Ahui ho.
Get those Tweedledees out of here.
So just another, you know, reflection. Just like this guy, Doug Chin, right? Just like Doug Chin, you have Connors, the con artist. You got Mitch, the sloth Roth. All of these guys are colluding to defraud the native Hawaiian beneficiaries and the Hawaiian Kingdom nationals that still have proper claim and rights over our lands, natural resources, and Kohava Ipai Aina. So homework, we always have to smash on them.
Yeah.
And
put them on the freaking Papa Ku'i for those guys.
They gotta be on when they act retarded like this. And so next up on the chopping block, we got Megan Kao. Sorry about the spelling, Megan K, that we have up there, but Megan Kao is basically homework. Did a little homework, you know. Two sides of the field she plays. One side she does. Kako, go ahead and research, Kako. That's what we encourage everybody to do. She's part of the Kawananakoa lawsuit with a bunch of special thieves. And she's also part of the Miski crew that took back the boat painkiller that was noted as the vessel of taking the young boy's body and disposing. So, Kao is a whole lot of everything. She has a pretty look. She's a pretty criminal. She plays both sides. So, makaala kako, because I can't give her a pass right now, but it really smells like a collusion. It really smells like a collusion coming our way now. And that's kind of where we, as the dark side, I have to leave it. Homework.
Yeah, you know that the state likes to manufacture these different narratives to create the chaos and confusion in the media. Here's somebody who's played both sides as she's proclaiming herself. You know, a pretty character for another shit show from the fake state. You know, caught up in the Michael Miskey, another, you know, big corruption kind of scandal, along with the Kealohas as well. But let's not forget, this is a systemic problem. These individuals are not the problem.
Yes.
This is a systemic problem. These are the faces and the names to go along with the story that everyone's so captivated by.
They're smart. They put the pretty faces, right?
Well, you know, they got the you know, the usual suspects. So all I gotta say is we have
Megan
to
Cow.
keep smashing
Right?
on the facade and the disillusion coming from the fake state, from the colluders. And we gotta be careful. We gotta watch. This person is running for office.
This person is running for office. So if you
Another
guys got
character
your,
for the American politic theater.
just for our safety out there, Kako, if you do any Hawaiian activities, make sure you have your ID and 250, because this doesn't look like good water for go across.
Right.
Next up, we got your quick COVID-19 update for this week, Moko Keave.
Okay,
First,
some quick this week.
we have them quick. First off, we have the film industry advocators asked the state for the green light, Kako. So, here we go. This whole issue with the film industry has only gotten to where it is now because of the Hawaiians who was posting on social media days before this story broke.
Right.
So mahalo kako, we don't remember you guys' name, but we remember where we see our community's response. And it's
We heard
because
the
of
whistle blow.
We heard the whistle blow, the kanikapu.
Yep.
We heard the kanikapu coming out from
blowing,
Maui.
baby.
To that brother who said it,
Yeah.
we send aloha out your way. Continue to do what you do, because by you giving out that information, they were trying to debunk you and your community of what you guys have already experienced, seen, and had an issue with. So these knuckleheads wanted to come up here after the fact that they got busted for Judge Victorino's Mamasaki Temptation Island. So Victorino, feeling violated, when he's telling the community that he felt like we're being aggressively overzealous on him. You showed us your hand and you can't be trusted. You're laying down bunts at a hotel where people are sick. And that is the issue that we have, and that cannot be a solution. That's definitely a collusion. We have to call it out. Victorino with the weak bunt, right?
Pop
flying, swinging, standing Stanleys, laying down ground bunters. Kapoole, homework.
Right, what is it? Temptation Island?
Temptation Island.
I can't believe they're still
went there.
They're still trying to greenlight this, right? They're still trying to justify, the state of the economy, right? Like, oh my gosh, we're doing so horrible. We need to have films like this. We need to have movie in the industry production going on here in the islands to stimulate our economy. But if it's gonna be Temptation Island, it should be a reality show, based on David Ige and the state of Hawaii's big state politicians, politicals.
And you know what is so sick about this though, homework? Temptation Island just had Epstein Island, and you're like trying to make Temptation Island be that island,
Right.
And it's like you bring in all these foreigners.
It's so sick.
Is that sick mind that all these colonizers have.
Capitalizing on the chaos and the hysteria.
Capitalizing on the chaos. The Epstein Island is going off, and this child sex trafficking that's been going on for decades and maybe even centuries is now being shed to light. And during COVID-19, you want to make our island the Temptation Island when we are over exceeding the capacity of the COVID-19? And that's where we have to stop it, man.
Yep.
These guys are out of control. When you guys see it, call it out. Shout out to our Maui Ohana continuing to keep us connected.
And shout out to the film industry, right? Like, we're going to reject any of these bunk, consumer-based empty narratives that you guys are trying to create here in the islands. Let's just film the politicians, right? We invite you to come film the politicians and create reality TV based on that. Wear your mask.
Wear your mask. Next up for your COVID-19 update is State of Hawaii auditor slams the fake state Ige Fernandez shit show for not showing their hand. They want to say they got a royal flush and they only got a 7-2 offsuit. And they went all in on a bluff and they want us to overlook their hand.
Right.
So the state got bold because the federal government is on them, right? The federal government is on them, and that's where, give me that smash. Give me that smash. That smash gotta happen because the state is definitely in collusion, yeah, with all the data that is being withheld for the large amounts of billions and millions that are awarded for the COVID-19. Homework.
Ooh, another big scam. Almost makes you forget about that last big scam, right? What is it? The rail. So
Right.
the train wreck is here. It is the state of Hawaii. As you can see how negligent and incompetent it is. It's showing how cracked this egg really is. You know, when the auditor is slamming the state and you have organizations like UH trying to do studies, trying to help with the contact tracing on their own, right? Not with the federal funds that you guys are mismanaging or putting here or there or whatever you're doing with it. But the other mechanisms of the state trying to find solutions right now, and the state being unwilling, right? The departments of the state being unwilling to be transparent and give that data. That just shows what a shit show, like you say, the 50th state unfair continues. And we have to, keep blowing the whistle on some of this corruption.
So mahalo to the whistleblower out there.
Yep.
We don't see your face, but we know who you are.
We hear your sound. We hear
We hear
you.
your sound. We hear your
We
sound.
heard you coming.
And next up, that falls right into this craziness is I believe, where did it go? It's the sewage
Right, the
that gets
sewage.
it. And here we are.
So that goes right in line, right, with this inability for the state to be transparent during this pandemic, right? We have the sewage now spilling out, right? We have the sewage, as we know here on Moku Keawe, right, coming out in places like Puhi Bay, coming out in places like Kailua Kona.
Steady.
Right, steady, and there's all kinds of studies that are absent and that aren't being had, and that people in our community, shout out to Auntie Terry in Keaukaha,
Yes.
right, and some of the nonprofits, the Surfrider Club out there, right, they're having to take the step to Awamodat Kuleana and do the testing. Well, here's a chance for the state to be transparent about sewage, right, so that we can trace the COVID a little bit better. And it just is putting up the roadblocks, right? The doo-doo is leaking out all over the place, but they don't want to tell us what the numbers say.
They care so much for us, they put us by the shit station and the rubbish dump. Mahalo, State of Hawaii, for contributing to our death. So, wrapping it up from our COVID-19, we will get into our
Next side of the chop.
the last side of the chopping block. What's next is our punk, the punk system.
Punk.
So we just passed it this past Thursday. Hawaii County have put up a gig, or shall we say, for use sale of our punk lands. And our punk lands right now, is being only used for desecration, and that's where we, as Native Hawaiians, must protect these areas because La'aloa, La'aloa is underneath the royal patent of Jean Lahi and their ohana. So if those ohana are still around, those families need to have the shot at taking care of their ohana kuleana lands that are still listed as Hawaiian national lands underneath Land Commission awards and royal patents, as Keamoku guys and other families have been exposing for the past decades or longer. And with that being said, Kako, the punk is a great thing for the
concept,
right. The concept is a great thing for the right families. We're not just going to have a nonprofit bid for someone else's kuleana. And that is why the dark side of Hawaiian politics cannot, almost came up, cannot. Collusion. Not bad collusion only. Need to be good collusion. Get back with the Ohana's Land Commission Award, Gene Lahi Lahi La'aloa, and the other ones out there that you see, go ahead, roll call. Next week, we'll call them out. Homework.
Right, so the PONC, right, this Public Access Open Space Natural Resource Preservation Commission. Oh, man, that was a lot of alphabets in that one. But we give the PONC a little bit of a green wave over here because, like you said, the concept is really good, right? We take some of these lands that are considered public lands, though that is debatable. Actually, that's false, right? When you look at the history of it, a lot of these lands are crown and government lands of the Hawaiian Kingdom. But in this situation, right, what we're talking about is some lands in Kona and Pahoehoe, right, Magic, Banyans, that actually have Royal Patent Land Commission awards that need to be addressed. And actually, like you said, need to be included in this process.
Let's get them included into this process.
You know, at least roll in the heirs and the successors so that we can move forward on, in some capacity, right? Bring light to the issues. At the very least. But so I see it as something that could be a possible pass. So I'm just gonna wave the la e in here, right? And I just couldn't tell everybody to be very cautious about working with this because that's how the state and counties like to play our communities and heirs against each other. They'll work with one, they'll ice out the rest. Right? So be very maka'ala.
Let's go.
Don't get conked by the punk.
Next up, we got our favorite always, right? We always have our favorite. And guess who always seems to lash out in it? Oh, man. Was the QLCC Trust. Kalamai, it's not up right now, but the QLLC Trust was basically the conversation that we had for this one. And so we've go ahead and check out Anna K's Facebook, Auntie Maxine,
Kaulelio.
Yeah, Kaulelio, and Auntie Gwen, right?
Gwen Kim.
Yes, go ahead, go check them out. They had a live feed. The live feed was very disturbing about how Queen Lido Kalani and the trust is just selling and liquidating the assets right now. Hilo's shop is going to be shut down in the next month. Kona is already on the chopping block. All the workers and employees already have been notified to sign an oath of secrecy, but it leaked out just like every great news. Nothing bad will ever get no attention.
The truth shines bright, baby.
So with that being said, KLCC has been in violation ever since the illegal overthrow. As an orphan, they did the best they could, but their best was selling us short. They lost track of many orphans. Many orphans went to prison. Many orphans have passed. Many orphans don't have any help, don't have any of the space no more. So when they reach 18, that's when the trust run by a bunch of Asians and non-Hawaiians decide that once you hit 18, that you are not an orphan no more. And for that being said, homework, I gotta smash.
Right.
I gotta smash. Even though they're going down right now, I think it's a great thing that we need to not only rally around this, but restructure, reorganize, reorchestrate a solider conclusion for our orphans that is still mandated by our court law. Homework.
All right, so this is our Queen Lili'u Kalani Trust, right? As we know, the usurpers stole from her some of her power during the illegal overthrow. And you know, to know the mo'okuauhau of this trust, along with the mo'okuauhau of all the ali'i trusts, right? What has happened to the Lunalilo trust, what has happened to all the different Kamehameha family lands and trusts, you know, and then of course Queen Liliuokalani is no exception. She's just her trust has been one of the last remaining kind of functioning, right? Still has an impact in our communities today, but nonetheless has been pillaged since it became, I guess, a trust, right, in the territorial time, right? So you look back at the mo'okuauhau, Queen Liliuokalani had to go to court, the Supreme Court, right, of these usurpers, to try to get her lands back to her that were stolen, right? The crown and government lands, her ali'i lands, right? And instead we have this trust and the mismanagement of this trust, along with all the other trusts, Kamehameha Trust, like I said, all the Kamehameha trusts, right? All the ali'i trusts have been broken. So another chapter in that broken trust history here, unfolding right before our eyes, very heartbreaking. But we can't go down without a fight, like you said. Some of our kupuna are very passionate about fighting this, and we must carry that into the next.
So, Kako, with that being said, next up, you may not see our beautiful faces in a bit because of the technical, but you guys are going to be following as we go through the topics. Next up, the last two of the chopping block is we have Ha'ula. So Ha'ula, Church of Christ, right? The UCC, the United Church of Christ, basically they have trying to sell and liquidate the churches. But if you look at the laws that the churches signed with the Hawaiian Kingdom government, the Hawaiian Kingdom government shows clearly that these properties are meant for the Christianity of the Hawaiian nation. So with the Christianity of the Hawaiian nation at stake, this is clearly what the contract states, Kako, that if they don't use it for the Christianity of the Hawaiian nation, it shall be reverted to Konohiki, Makai Nana, and government alike in the interest party above. So with that being said, I have to give it a smash because that is illegal to do those processes when your original contract from the Hawaiian Kingdom states it should be used for that purpose only. Homework.
Well, we also got to make a little side mention, right, of, the apology bill, right, the Apology Act of 1993, right, where the U.S. apologizes for stealing our national lands and admits that we still retained our rights to these lands, right? As good as the toilet paper that was written on, right, but in terms of it being relevant to this issue here, right, the UCC, the United Churches of Christ,
and United Church of Crooks.
Well, like all of these guys are part of this. Part of this corruption, and to hear what they have to say, their take on the story, I think it enriches our ike and what we can understand about the what's going on. The many layers of corruption. Get a nice Christian one too. Maybe we can reach out to somebody from within the churches, right?
So next week maybe we're gonna get a hold of Pastor Kahele. Was the last pastor that actually built the UCC church out in Kahuku. So we do know Charlie. Charlie is he's an ancestor of Pastor Kahele, and that's where we're going to be looking for a little bit mana'o next week on the Get Connected session. So unfortunately that we're running through some difficulties, we're getting censored, but next week the UCC will be getting one ahead from basically one of the heirs. So this is a Hawaiian Kingdom heir call out. This is a roll call. Just like for the La'aloa and the Punk, this is for Ha'ula Church. This is for the heirs to step up and basically get on the train and stop this illegal sales. Next up, for the last but not least,
Shout out.
Kalahui updates from Keamoku guys' Zoom with Healani Sodora, Lance Collins, and Kapali. So with that being said, these guys have been doing an awesome job bringing out the light. And so, mahalo once again for Kalahui updates, for keeping us connected. With the Zoom update call, is so much to take from it, from Land Commission Awards, the significance from knowing your Land Commission Awards, your Kuleana rights. These are all of the things. These are no, you gotta log back in. You gotta so these Zoom calls, you gotta listen to them. Go back, go check it out next week, Kako, or today. Because to be honest, this is what our Lahui needs. We need more truth. We don't need more non-profits, makeups, and all of this kind of this facade of Hawaii being the best place to live. This is the kind of conversations we need. We need to talk about the Hawaiian Kingdom.
We don't need static, right? We don't need flashy, static content that really doesn't mean nothing.
We don't need a bondo job for a wreck up car crash,
right,
guys.
shit, let's
You're
be
not
real,
gonna put
guys.
lipstick on a pig and tell me it's not bacon and ketchup.
Oh my god.
So with that being said, Kako,
we need to hear more voices in programs like
we need this.
right?
We encourage them. Lahui updates, Keamoku Kapu Chief, all of these people that put it together. Kapali, staunch advocate.
Let's make a commitment to actually elucidating all of these voices and these kinds of issues. All the Kuleana land fights on all the Aina and throughout the Pai Aina, right? This should be the standard that we treat each case and each situation, with this kind of focus and energy, and we should all jump in and kokua these guys, right? Get the message out, put our pressure on the fake state officials, and also, just doing the work, being the boots on the ground, being kanaka, showing aloha for this aina and for these aloha aina.
There we go, Kako. So, last but not least, this has to be the pass, right?
That's the pass.
It's got to be the pass. The one pass for today.
Oh, if you could see me, I'm waving that la'i. Baby.
So our constitutional oath breaker, Kako, for this week has to be Ige and the state of Hawaii, Espinda. Espinda gets my constitutional oath breaker of the week, because he has failed us in so many aspects, and by squaring him out, we are allowed to get a hold of Ige, guys.
Yeah.
Homework, who you got?
I'll rock that hat. But we make sure that bugger's on the right cat. The fake state of Hawaii. It's Manapua season right now, so all you fat cat looking monkeys, you guys are gonna get smashed. The Kawila stick is coming down hard on you guys. And, not only the feds and the American theater is going to enjoy watching the cockroaches run around when they're getting smashed.
Oh, yes.
I gotta keep our focus on the state of Hawaii and all the corruption of its many departments, its many arms and entanglements that it creates, and the false narrative of them actually doing a competent job with the money and resources and privilege that they have to be in the controls of this beautiful Pai Aina. So I hope everyone's watching as the freaking Matrix glitches out and busts out and smokes out, and you guys is ready for plant food and bang with us. Let's go.
Let's go. So this week, mahalo for joining us. Saturday, episode 41, exposing the fake state, where we got censored 4 rounds, but we executed the 5th, like always. And now, last but not least, your rapid aloha, where we shout out aloha
Give it 'em.
to everyone for the support. So, my first rapid aloha goes out to Baita'ai, where you can get your fresh fish fix every week from a real Hawaiian on the Crown lands.
Yep.
Homework, who you got?
Want to make a special shout out again, everybody bearing with us for the afternoon version of the dark side. Still sunny side up, still sizzling. You know, mahalo for being there for us. We try to be there for you guys. So link us in with all the kuleana action, all the land commission awards, all the ike, all the mana'o that our kupuna and our aumakua left us with for the next generation to thrive in this Pai'aina, our home country, right?
When is your time and date functioning?
The Olympics, we actually got one event coming up tomorrow.
One event?
If you ready, out in Hamakua, you guys give us a shout out for
Right.
the Olympics.
Right.
But again, a special shout out. This is the Rapid Aloha. Shout out to all the heirs, successors, Land Commission Award, kuleana holders out here in Hamakua in my ahupua. I'm looking for you.
Let's
Ka
go.
Abahua, ka Nakaonai, Iaukea, Palau, Papapa, ka Palahaole, Haina Kapu, Kahiku, Naihe Hau, Oulu, Kui Kauai, Kaula Ili Hau, Ka'ai Kawaha, Parker, Cooper, and all the other freaking Portuguese and Filipino and plantation workers that we come put in their kuleana too. Hele mai, we waiting. Let's grow the future.
Mahalo to Kanaka Kava, our sponsor. Check them out. Check out their online sales. Remember, practice social distancing. Be safe out there in the kingdom. Ku aloha aina.
Yo. Mahalo nui for joining us for another episode.
Hey.